Hello, everybody, and welcome back to GameStar's ANZ Spring Season. My name is Nigio, and I'm casting alongside Covington. Yes, it's been a night of full
What's so
laughter.
funny?
Well, Covington, it is the power of Fonzies and their effect on our brain. So it is a mind control. Nonetheless, Sylvanas, our overlord, has been, tormenting us from the get-go. But we're back with some action. We have ourselves a best of three. It is nobody taking on Egirl Slayerz in a gruesome match. And we're heading to Battlefield of Eternity to do it. Let's take it away, Cubby.
So, what do you expect to have first bans here? Do you think that they're going to ban out these race champions, or do you think they're going to leave them on the table? What do you think, George?
Okay. Now this is interesting. You can't really ban out every single race champion because almost everybody can race to some extent. Samurai can
But
race.
you have 4 bans now. You have 4 bans on the stage to ban out champions.
4? Where's the fourth? Unless
2
I'm mistaken.
each. 2 each.
I see. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
You get me?
Well, yeah, I get you. You got 4 bands to ban out all the race
feeling
heroes. You
me?
can knock them out. I feel you, bro. Quick math, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, ban first going towards Egirl Slayerz. I highly doubt we're going to see someone like ban Vala. I mean, who would ban Vala? Well, then again, it's ANZ. But that's
true.
That's a whole different conversation. But bans, we'll probably see Hanzo. That's probably a safer ban. You've got Samuro being banned.
Target ban. Oh,
Okay.
I mean, they don't have silence on the other team, do they? Why are they banning Samuro? Oh, I'm
Because
disappointed.
maybe Zalians has trained someone of nobody to play the Samuro.
I doubt it. There's only one person in ANZ who can play Samuro well, and that's Silence. What are we going to see from the other side, though? Who is nobody going to ban? Mal'Ganis. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't actually know much about that champion, but I've seen some people saying that he's broken on Twitter, and then I see some people saying that he's like completely fine. So I don't know what the general consensus about him is.
Well,
but
I guess
he's being banned every game.
Yeah. I guess for you, Covington, he's a figment of your worst imagination, of your worst nightmares. He eats fluffy bunnies for breakfast. That's what he does. He puts you to sleep, and then, he tears you a new one with his foul claws. That's essentially summing him up in just a few words. So, I don't know, you take what you will with that. He's frustrating to deal with, that's the thing. You will drop him low, and he can turn on you in a matter of seconds with his Dark Conversion Ultimate. Forget the name on that one, but he's able to literally 100 to 0 you if he times it really well, because what that works is the lower health person swaps health with whoever's channeling. So if he's lower, swaps it with the higher health of the other person, vice versa. But on the other hand, we're seeing Diablo being banned away, ETC being banned away, both heroes that can do wonders on this map. They have zoning potential, they have engage potential. Dibbles, this is 3 for 3 in bans, so I guess with the change to Bunker and change to a lot of other heroes, he's slightly raising in pick rate, and it's going to be Jimmy being selected by the side of Egirl Slayerz.
I'm looking forward to seeing some Pepper. Very excited. I love Jimmy. Such a basic champion, but if you can play him well, it's beautiful.
Now the thing is, do they pair him up with someone that can deal CC to at least pop off that ace in the hole? Jaina comes to mind. She also does work well on this map. You can also get someone like, I guess, a Nubarak if you really want to. Muradin as well, if he gets the Stormbolt. But Dahaka being selected, and finally Tyrande as well by nobody. Dahaka, global presence. I love me some good Dahaka. And Tyrande, despite the change, is still seeing a lot of loving with the ANZ region.
We're gonna see a Gorosh game coming out from Egirl Slayerz. And we just seen how strong... Who was playing Thrall last game? Was it Matt?
For Egirl Slayerz, that was Raven.
Raven, that's right.
Thrall, yes.
That's right, Matt was playing Muradin. Yeah. And we've seen how deadly he was with Thrall the last game, so yeah, interesting to see whether he can get into those compromising situations against nobody.
Well, now the question remains, what would you then pick if you're Thrall? Would you go for the Sundering still? Because that's what we saw Raven pick up. He went for the Sundering. They were able to expose the backline of the people you hate. But when you're running Raynor, you got the Aesonor. If like most of the time, they will pick that as a level 1 talent. But let's say he does.
Mm-hmm.
Would you then go for Earthquake for that just massive AoE slow?
Well, what you got to think about there is that if you go for Earthquake, you've also got Garrosh who can just run in and grab the slowed enemies and throw them into your team. So there is a bit of synergy going on there. So, I mean, I can see it working. I see potential. Will it actually happen? I don't know.
Depends on, I guess, the few other picks to have anything to follow up on and engage those Earthquake. But on the side of nobody, they're going to lock in Johanna and they're going to lock in the Li Ming. We mentioned Li Ming as a potential race hero. Can deal a lot of damage from afar, from a safe distance. And that's what you got to highlight. She can damage it safely. Now it depends on, do they want to go for a reset comp? Because guess what? Genji is still available. And we mentioned this earlier on, his nerf. Would we see an impact? And honestly, 3 games down, not a single ban. 2 games down, not a single pick. And this might happen for 3 at the moment, as Maiev and Malfurion being locked in by Egirl Slayerz.
And both of those champions really good at locking down, locking down the points. So be really interesting to see the synergy between the Warden's Cage and also the Roots.
Well, yeah, you get the Roots. You get also the whole idea of Garrosh tossing someone in for the Roots as well in Malfurion.
Mm-hmm.
You got Thrall. There is a lot of lockdown in the side of Egirl Slayerz, and this is Luke playing Maiev. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not aware at all of this, back in Open Division, basically Egirl Slayerz is Crimson Academy with the lineup, but most of them really. And Luke plays a very, very dangerous Maiev. He will not wait for the tank to engage. He will not wait for the enemy team to misstep. He takes matters in his own hands and he forces an engage. And this is probably what's going to happen throughout in tonight's match. And you've got the follow-up too, because you've got Garrosh, who can toss in whoever he pulls in with the Umbral Binding. You got Thrall to follow up with the lock. Raynor on Trashly will deal that damage. And finally, Stump God. You know what? Throw him on my patch of grass and they ain't going nowhere. And that's what's going to happen.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how Stump Thought plus Crimson Academy go in this game, seeing as they're playing against a little bit of higher skilled opponents than say that they did encounter in the Open Division. Whether that kind of risky, disrespectful play from Luke will pay off against opponents like this, we'll have to see what happens. But I mean, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I kind of feel like this Crimson Academy team, they like to meme a lot. They remind me of another team in Premier Division last season that liked to meme a lot, but they won't be spoken about. Bless their souls. Rotting in jail.
Oh goodness, Cubby, that's why you're slaying me tonight. I mean, you're the real, I guess, e-girl slayer or really human slayer tonight. Slaying, you're the real e-girl.
I'm coming for all those thoughts. That's all I've got to say.
Oh goodness gracious me! Oh,
I still use Stump Thought.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, hide your wives, hide your kids, because Covington's on the loose. You know, he is savage tonight. But enough of that. Enough of the, I guess, the murder hobo lifestyle that is Cubby. We got ourselves another best of 3. Tonight is, again, Nobody taking on Egirl Slayerz, and on the blue side is going to be Nobody, with firstly on Dahaka, Anka on the Li Ming, Caladrits on the Tyrande, SDBX is playing Cassie, and finally, Abatha on Johanna. Meanwhile, Cubby, who's on the red side?
The red side, we've got Egirl Slayerz, we've got Stump God on the Malfurion, Matt tossing him around on the Gorosh, Luke on the Maiev, Raven hitting it back with that Thrall, and Trashly playing Young Jimmy.
But already we're seeing something, I guess, safe. They're pushing in through the middle gates, and both teams rotate, sending 4 minutes down the bottom lane. It's a staple start. You get that kind of, I guess, well, grouping up in the bottom lane. You get the soul lanes up the top lane, but oh my goodness, SDBX gets tossed in. Not going to get the follow-up stun. In fact, the follow-up is not there, so SDBX is just going to casually walk away with his life. That could have been so dangerous so quickly.
So it's unfortunate that Egirl Slayerz weren't able to convert there, just as it would have been a really good start for them to pull ahead a little bit before the game had really started. But we do get a pause coming out from Egirl Slayerz. So we'll kind of come back and we'll take a look at what talents have we taken so far. What builds do you think that we're going to go into?
Well, personally, let's just highlight Li Ming is running her Power Hungry. Now, it's a standard staple, level 1 talent. A lot of globes around her. She's able to get that increased spell power and as well as mana, restores some mana for herself. Now, it depends. Does she want to go for the reset build where she goes merely focus and just jumps, teleports around the map, gets as well as good old pushback for the secure kill? Or is she going to sit back, relax, and deal damage from afar? Got to highlight that later on. But we're back in it, ladies and gentlemen. Avatar gets engaged on by Luke, and it's going to be what happens. Again, like we mentioned, Luke does not wait. He will engage when he feels like it, but Trashy has to be careful because SDBX was dealing quite a lot of damage, forcing Trashy down to below half health. And it's going to be happening down in the bottom lane. It's just a lot of brawling focus. Been on the top lane, it's going to be the same thing as well. Raven, so far, winning out in the sustained warfare just yet, but both forced the fountain tap. And Cubby, are we going to see anything special, I guess, coming in earlier on in this match?
From how they've been playing so far, both teams seem to be playing relatively safe, not willing to overextend too much. One thing that I am really interested in is that, you know, it's quite debated, but there are some people that say that Johanna is a counter to Maiev, and we have seen kind of Johanna just pulling Maiev out of the binds and that kind of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how those interactions do come into play and whether or not that is a counter pick or not.
Well, it depends. If she can get the right blind on time, I think it denies Umbral Binding being able to latch on. So that's a good counter. But Trashly has to be careful. Encore has been focusing quite a lot of his damage on towards those assassins, reducing them, because if they're low health, they ain't engaging. And that's good, especially if you're running someone like a good Cassia, who once it gets jumped on, it's going to be low. But Luke, looking for the engage again on towards Cassia, gets dragged in, but a good turnaround blind does not allow Matt in order to follow up, won't flip him over. So nobody holding their own. They're a lot healthier. In fact, are focusing on toward this bottom Kaiser camp just before the Immortals start spawning in 15 seconds. But Matt looking to steal, try and do something. If he can force a delay, but that's all he's going to be done because Luke has rotated off, looking to get the Shaman camp for himself. And 3 seconds, Cubby, look at first phase. Who do you think will take it so far?
First phase, to be honest with you, right now we have nobody is up on experience. Feel like if they're able to push this advantage, they probably should be able to take this, but it really depends. This really depends on how they deal with, you know, the Maiev and also a lot of the combos that we have on Egirl Slayerz.
Now Matt has tried to make his way in. Luke again looking to get the engage. They are following up with the SDBX, but the rest of nobody are trying their best to keep him alive. Get the blind, get the slow, get the damage output. SDBX is able to walk away, so they haven't secured a pickoff just yet. This Immortal has been taking quite a bit of damage as well, but they're still fighting on. Firstly, also walking down, looking to get a drag himself, but they weren't going to get anything. Instead, good defense by Egirl Slayerz. They have zoned them off, rotating now towards their Immortal. Try to do some damage, but they can't be here for too long because already in response, nobody just knew it. They're on clockwork here, ladies and gentlemen, and they're back onto this Immortal right now. And it's a race, but they already got the advantage so far.
Yeah, definitely. This is the moment where you have to decide, you know, are we going to defend? Are we going to race? And I don't think it's a good idea to race for Egirl Slayerz.
In fact, they decide not to race. How about we fight instead? Luke is so down low. Avatar is quite low. In fact, they're going to lose their support. So Tarande is down, and this is all she wrote. They're looking to disengage, and that's what they have to do. Despite multiple members from Egirl Slayerz alone, nobody are starting to drop like flies. It's going to be Dahaka also falling. Meanwhile, Trashy looking to get another pick on towards Uncle. Instead, they won't. So they win the team fight. They get 2-0 lead, and now rotating on towards their Immortal, trying to get that quickly done. Meanwhile, the rest of good old Nobody, the race is on, but can they do it in time? It's going. 2,000, 8,000. It looks like Nobody will secure the first Immortal of tonight's match.
But because they're able to pick up those kills, they were able to burn down the shield of this Immortal quite a lot. So it's going to mean that there is going to be less value for Nobody actually picking up this Immortal. So I think that was a good idea to jump back and just give the Immortal up. Be like, we don't care, you can have this. We're just gonna burn the shield down a little bit.
Luke looking to get the engage. In fact, it's Luna fled on in retaliation. Now Raven rotates up. There is the double Umbral Binding Pool. Secures a kill on STBX, followed by the flip over by Matt on towards Avatar. Caladris doing the best he can, keeps him alive. Meanwhile, Matt gets dragged in, drops the half health, but they're able to zone off Nobody as they deal some damage on towards this Immortal. It's working on the fort, but we'll probably only get some damage on this fountain. Actually, we'll secure the fountain, and that's about it.
So it's like I said, not really that much value, but at least they did pick up that kill, those 2 kills on Abatha and...
Rotation by Caladric.
Abatha and STBX.
Yeah, don't get kill. But you're right, the kills on by what Egirl Slayerz did onto Nobody allowed them to force them off the Immortal, enable them to clear it without any hassle or problems. And that's what allowed them to, I guess, really defend their top fort. They do have themselves, I guess, a quarter lead of experience in favor, but will that be enough coming towards multiple Immortal phases coming up soon?
It's the real question, and now we see Nobody moving in to take on the Bruiser camp on their side of the map. But it looks like they may actually get some balling down in the bottom lane as well. Raven scoping out Encore here. Encore just quite happy to just juke and stay safe. Just poke as Encore can.
I mean, this is allowing firstly to secure themselves a Shaman camp. And already, they're looking to rotate. I think they were aware of this is happening. They're going to force an engage until the Avatar firstly has just secured the Shaman camp. So this is great timing because guess what? In 20 seconds, the Immortals are going to spawn. That's going to apply a lot of pressure down this bottom lane. They're ahead of the curve. Meanwhile, Egirl Slayerz are rotating. They're trying to get their Shaman camp, but are they a little bit too late? Just going to wait and see how quickly they are going to clear this camp.
Well, it looks like Nobody is actually going to push a little bit with this the Shaman camp, because that should at least take out those towers, so should get quite a bit of value here.
I think it's now a race to 10, really.
Yeah, definitely.
Firstly, in the top lane, dealing with the minions.
And Nobody just taking the easy route to 10, taking out structures.
But this does allow Egirl Slayerz to deal some damage towards the Immortal already. Will secure up to half health of the Immortal without a single damage done to their own Immortal. But in fact, they're able to hit level 10 first, so is it really a gain for them? They're level 10 to level 9, that of Egirl Slayerz. In fact, it's going to be a very easy spawn of that Immortal as we get a pause coming out from the side of Nobody. But I'm going to say, questionable play decision there. Do you push tower and risk damage on towards your Immortal, which is what just transpired, but they actually lost that race to level 10 as well, and lost half of their Immortal's health.
So I think from where I'm standing, it looks like Egirl Slayerz seem to feel like their win condition is winning the team fights, winning the micro. So it really makes sense for Nobody to be wanting to make sure that they have those 10s so that when they do get into that team fight that they aren't in a disadvantage there. Or at least that's how I see it. I don't know what everyone else is thinking, but you know.
It's going to see how does the decision making plan out though, because if anything, if you're going to play that kind of while they're focused on micro, they're focused on the team killing, you have potential way of disengaging. You got the double blind followed by the lunar flare of that Tyrande. There is, I guess, tools in their tool bag in their kit in order to deal with what is coming up towards them. They were able to avoid some team fights and safely, despite SDBX narrowly getting caught out of position. But ladies and gentlemen, back in towards game, and a race is somewhat on, but unfortunately, the team of Nobody a little bit too late to the party, as their Immortal is going to drop with almost a full shielded Immortal on the side of Egirl Slayerz. Gonna be bearing down in the upcoming lane. No kills were also secured, so it's gonna be a tough one. This bottom lane is gonna be the defense of a lifetime by the side of Nobody. But Covington, oh, firstly caught out, firstly flipped, firstly stunned. Now he's gonna get rooted, he's gonna get locked with there's a chain CC, but he's still surviving. He ain't dying. Meanwhile, the Earthquake has him up. Caladrius is in a world of pain, gets locked in with that water cage, will fall. But can they secure a return call to Raven? Yes, they do. That's going to be Caladrius somehow with the Shadowfall. But as he dies, his members are falling left, right, center. That's going to be also the fourth member, which is Ankara on that Li Ming. That's a bad team fight that just went from bad to worse in a matter of seconds. And this shielded Immortal is looking strong, threatening this bottom lane.
So that's really unfortunate for Nobody. I was so sure Mitzi was going to escape there, but, you know, that just happens sometimes, you just get caught. I feel like if they're not careful, this could start to challenge the keep. I mean, it's still at full life now. They are almost a talent tier here, so if they want to play greedy, they could possibly push for the keep here, but I don't think they will.
Definitely. I mean, you've still got the side itself, Blessed Shield ready up by the Johanna, as well as the isolation coming out from firstly on Dahaka. So they have some kind of ways of dealing with a very aggressive dive if they decide to push up that much. But playing it smart, playing it safe, have exposed those keep for themselves by taking away the walls and turrets. And this will allow them to get the talent tier advantage, prepare for the next Immortal, which will come up in a few minutes. Securing top Kaiser camp, Cubby. So far, it's still a close match though. It's not over just yet for the side of Nobody.
It's interesting when you look at the ultimates taken by, even though we are going to get into a fight here, firstly getting quite low, forced to back off. I feel like they're just going to try and, firstly getting picked up. Warden's Cage coming out, Matt going and trying to kill the damage. He is getting quite low. Tranquility coming out, trying to save Matt. He is so close, but no. Mitzi's gonna just escape. Luke's quite low as well. They finally pick up Maev. Ooh.
A 1-for-1 in both sides, but they're good looking for grab someone. Matt is still healthy. Stump God doing quite a bit. Lunar Flare is done on towards Trashly. Meanwhile, Encore had a duel with Raven. That was happening off screen, down in towards the bottom where the Immortals have spawned. But that's two members down. Immortals up in 10 seconds. And this is not looking good for Nobody. Top 4 is being threatened. Cubby. Caladrius is in a world of hurt. Raven looking at the root that in fact misses. Matt's coming. Can get the stun onto SDBX. Does. But will not follow up with that flip. In fact, they're just going to walk away. Get the top 4. And threaten this Immortal. Because guess what? It spawned right near their current location.
Mm-hmm. So I think my question there is, do you think that was a great juke by Caladrius or just a really bad wolf?
I'm going to give it to him. He had a good juke there.
Mm-hmm. So with the EXP lead, it looks like Egirl Slayerz are just quite happy to still brawl down here under the opponent's Immortal.
Absolutely.
Firstly, getting quite low.
That fight is on. There are equal talent here. In fact, there's a lot of blind, a lot of damage. It's going to be Raven being the first one to fall. Now, Matt is going to be the next target. First being forced to pop that Indomitable. Is it going to be enough? SDBX secures that kill, getting a double kill for himself. Meanwhile, firstly, tried to get a drag on towards that Trashly. Will not, as it lands on a little sentry ent. Coming up by Malfurion when it spawns those treants. And Teamfight for themselves get 2 kills. Now they're focusing on towards that Immortal. They're doing quite a bit of damage as well. They're trying to catch up back to half health as Avatar looking to zone away, but that's working good for them. They've caught back. It ain't over just yet, Cubby.
And I mean, they still have the Haka picking up experience for them in some of the other lanes, so they are slowly clawing that EXP lead back. Halftime show now. It looks like Egirl Slayerz are looking to re-engage. So unfortunately for nobody is that Egirl Slayerz have all of their ultimates up and
So does nobody. There you go, Water Cage has been popped, all by the Dobson, but all the blind coming out by SDBX is going to keep his Avatar alive, but it's a little bit too late. Earthquake also used for the slow. Matt just walking in, slapping SDBX as the rest of his team has been caught up by yet again the root combo from Raven and Stump God. That's 2 members down. They're going to secure this team fight for themselves and back away, working on towards that Immortal. They should secure it and push for the top lane. It's another team fight, but really, it's kind of a close one when you think about it. It's just whoever gets their abilities off first, Cubby.
Yeah, it's exactly that, and it looks like firstly here is going to go down as well in the counter engage. Even though this is 2-on-3, Raven coming in the back line, just back up the boys here. They managed to push everyone off the point.
Well, so far this is game 1 of a best of 3.
Low.
Looking good. Matt has to be careful. Has to back away. Cloud's trying to do some damage. But meanwhile, Luke gets a triple man Umbral binding. Only drags in 2 as Encore falls. Followed by Avatar. Cloudress is the last remaining by nobody's team. So he is going to be trying to put up a defense of a lifetime as firstly will spawn up in just about a second. As this Immortal is pushing up in the top lane. This is looking dangerous. He could threaten this keep if they're not careful.
I don't want to hate, but this, like, the team fighting in this game just feels really messy to me. Right, here we go, this Immortal. If they push with this, I think they can definitely pick up the keep here. Not quite an end condition yet, but getting very close to it. Maybe if they pick up a few kills here.
I mean, Matt flipped over first, but first they're going to borrow it to safety. Will be at stasis, taking a bit of damage. They do lose the top keep. Immortal is down to half health. Blessed Shield's up in 4 seconds. But isolation was used on towards Matt. They're looking to disengage. There's also the Indomitable. So Immortal working on core, taking a bit of damage as the Li Ming AI doing its wonders to clear it up. Can it do it? Trust in the AI. It's how we win games, ladies and gentlemen. But this is looking to be Egirl Slayerz. They're capitalizing on this play to get the taunt on towards Firstly forced to borrow. There's also the Earthquake. A lot of ultimates have been used, and the 3-man Umbral binding into the Water Cage secures a double kill, triple kill, count that, as the rest of nobody are falling left, right, center. Firstly is actually the last one to die, not the first one tonight, and that is going to be game 1 going over towards Egirl Slayerz, looking strong in this match.
Okay. I feel like the real winner in that game was Mitzi's Internet, but you know, what can you do? Wow. I feel like nobody just got out team fight the whole game.
It was a close one. When you really look at it and you break it down, yes, Egirl Slayerz came out on top when it came to team fights, but it was a lot of the time was focused on, did they get the right rotation? Were they able to get their abilities on and then the blow up? Because when we saw it, nobody also retaliated. When they had the double blind, that is Johanna and Cassia, they were able to neutralize or I guess neuter a lot of the damage that was coming out by Egirl Slayerz. It denied Reyna, it denied Maev, it denied the Thrall, and they were able to turn and at least deal some damage in return. But it's just those really minute moments that really dictated the team fights. So that's going to be a tough one. But ladies and gentlemen, that is game number 1 of a best of 3. We'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll be bringing game 2 in tonight's matches. We'll see you very soon.